Hey guys, I forgot to record something asking you to like the video, so if you guys could like the video, that'd be really awesome. Thanks. Here's the show. What is Forrest Gump's password? 1Forrest1. Hello, YouTube. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm streaming this one on Twitch, but we're gonna bring it live to you on YouTube. This version of this cast, though, was made possible in part thanks to a very happy guy coming all the way from YouTube. His name's OddGit42. Because I was so happy to have someone from YouTube come visit me on Twitch, I asked him, what version of AlphaStar would you like to see me cast next? And he said he wanted to see some Protoss. So, with that being said, now to the top left side of the map, we introduce the one and only AlphaStar. And while we've been hopping around in the time frame for AlphaStar, we now come back to the more recent version, and we know this because their opponent in the bottom right is a blue Zerg at the ranking of Grandmaster. I do wish that the Deepmind team had left the real names of the players in these games. I think it's a real shame. I do like, however, that it does identify that this is a Grandmaster game, because through replays, that's not so easy to tell sometimes. So I guess there are some pros and cons to this, but AlphaStar's Protoss has had some really fun games. I've really enjoyed watching a lot of them actually happen on King's Cove specifically. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or by chance, because I have always wondered a little bit if AlphaStar has tailored map builds, for example. Do we have a build that works only on King's Cove versus the Sim City just doesn't work because it never learned how to do it on New Repugnancy? Who knows? But what we do know is AlphaStar's got really solid macro, and a game of Starcraft 2, I expect good things. For a Zerg player in this instance, though, it does leave some questions. I think part of not knowing who this is fair, because when these guys played on the ladder, they had no idea that they were going up against AlphaStar. This is a question I get pretty frequently through the YouTube comments, but for those unaware, when AlphaStar was put on the ladder, you could opt in or opt out of playing against it, meaning if you didn't opt in, you would never, ever, ever see AlphaStar in your ladder games. But if you did, you really wouldn't know, because while the chat has been scrubbed from these replays, AlphaStar would start the game with a good luck, have fun, and if losing or winning, AlphaStar would type GG at the end of the game. Really basic and really simple, but small little things that make it not seem so suspicious. And I guess because we do have a lot of people coming in from not Starcraft, but mostly checking out AlphaStar, it's worth noting that I've never really talked about this to overanalyze it, but some time ago, it was just really established. It's just good manners. You always good luck, have fun. You always type GG at the end. Even if you get mad, you still see people type GG. Usually it's like GG, f you, but you know, whatever. As AlphaStar, though, gets good scout, and I'm sure good luck, have funs were typed. None of that really matters to the actual gameplay. Just kind of some cool facts about how AlphaStar functioned on the ladder, since we don't get to watch that part of it live. Is its name not AlphaStar on the ladder? Asks somebody from chat. No, AlphaStar was actually just a barcode. Just any old barcode. If you watch some of the original videos we did through the first AlphaStar series here on YouTube, you know, back when it was Raynor versus AlphaStar and Serral versus AlphaStar, just to name drop a few big names, it was always a barcode. They really did everything they could to just make this look like a random player on the ladder. Then really good skill combined with things like that made it not so obvious that it was AlphaStar. Of course, one of the things everyone started doing, though, is they realized there were some strange attributes to these games, and after they were going through the replays at the end, they noticed, you know, their opponent wasn't using control groups. How? That's impossible. People need control groups to play. Their APM and EPM, and just little details would match up, and suddenly you're like, oh, that was an AlphaStar game I just played. And I think once people started realizing that, they started, you know, putting the replays out there, and it was really cool to grab some of those. But, you know, nostalgia being what it is, here we are now with Deepmind's official versions of the replays, all of them released. And I will say this much, too. This game, any other game on YouTube, there's a chance we're going to have some duplicates. I know I've already accidentally done one twice over, but for those who are a little unaware of me, I cast a lot of StarCraft 2 on the regular, usually pros, not AlphaStar. And I can't keep memory of all these games. I cast more games of StarCraft 2 than I think anyone else has at this point. And I can say that with a lot of confidence, too. So, unfortunately, in one ear and out the other, my brain kind of forgets the games we cast a few weeks just after they're done. Unless there is something really remarkable about said games. So, 10 workers dead so far to start this game. And hoping that this isn't a duplicate as I make that statement, because, oh, that's going to be awkward, but... 3 depths moving out with those oracles, looking for a little bit more damage from AlphaStar. Our Grandmaster player is going to have to be on high alert for this. Now, a counterattack with the Zerglings might just bring some of those units home. Oh, the one Oracle could probably clean this up. Still pushing through with the Adepts. The key thing here is getting worker damage done. Whether it's AlphaStar or whether it's a human, a Zerg's greatest strengths come from its economy. And if you want to start cutting their legs out from under them, you don't kill 400 Zerglings, you kill 40 drones. So trading out with some of the Zerglings over here, these Adepts clearly don't have resonating glaives, so they are going to die out, but they get some pretty good damage, and of course the Oracles zip in too. So that 10 from just moments ago very quickly becomes 22 dead drones. And this pressure out of AlphaStar has been fantastic. However, oh no, she doesn't want to lose the Oracles. Nice recall move. Okay, this is how you know this is like Grandmaster level of play. That's so cool. Death warped in here towards the third base, gonna hold this as well. Forge starts up because I think AlphaStar is considering a cannon or two for the defense, but for the most part, so far so good. And I like the damage caused by this as well. It's usually a little bit difficult to hurt drones and make that lasting damage, as Zerg players will very quickly, very rapidly make like another 12 with the next larva wave. But despite the abundantly large amount of Oracles in play, the worker count doesn't suffer that badly because our players have been pretty on top of remaking them. But this does come at a cost. You know, it's 4 bases, it's a lot of larva, there's a lot of money to work with, but there's no army units really. It's just these Zerglings. And Zerglings are doing okay at stopping the Adepts. 2 thumbs up in that regards, but they can't shoot up, they can't stack up, they can't cheerleading up a pyramid to get these Oracles out of the sky, and these are gonna have free reign if they want to commit. These queens don't stand a chance. AlphaStar not willing to commit though. Oh man, you know what I'd love to see? I haven't really seen AlphaStar use a lot of stasis wards. I don't even know if it's in the repertoire, but it'd be really cool. With 4 Oracles, a human player would be putting down a ton of stasis traps all over the map. And we got the Immortal coming out now from the Robo. AlphaStar's continuing to advance its tech as Charge comes up. Now I know that between this AlphaStar cast release and the Home Story Cup games I've been casting live over the last few days, we go from games on the balance patch to this, which was old and not on the current balance patch. So I bring this up only to highlight the fact that this charge is going to be the charge that everyone's been used to seeing for 2019. As in, the Zealots are not going to move like they're stimmed Marines, and they're going to deal 8 damage on impact. We had Showtime actually give some of his thoughts on the Home Story Cup mainstream. I was actually able to catch that, luckily. He was talking about the Adepts, or excuse me, the Zealot charge change. But this old school version of it's pretty volatile, and it's pretty good still, so you get to watch a little bit of what you're probably used to seeing. But if you've watched any of those Home Story Cup VODs, and by the way, I really would recommend it. There are some good ones that I was able to get up on YouTube quickly. Zealot charge is so different and weird. It's not necessarily awful, but the way it interacts now is and going forward is going to be super strange. But despite the Oracle presence on the map, not really able to control the creep, unfortunately not leading down a bunch of stasis wards either, so our GM player is just spreading pretty comfortably down the middle of the map. We got an infestation pit on the way, so we're going to see Hive at some point. I'm excited to see what that late game looks like. Somewhat passive play out of our Zerg though. You know, a couple of attempts to harass the third base, but nothing really too phenomenal in that regard. We have Disruptors coming out of AlphaStar for its late game, which is going to be really nice if it can control this. My fear though is AlphaStar has had some pretty notorious friendly fire, and there was a game we cast where AlphaStar ended up blowing up, I'd say, a good third of its own army with Disruptors. I can't remember exactly which game that was. I just vaguely remember screaming "No!" as it happened, but it's something to worry about and certainly be considerate of. Some hallucinations to scout what's going on, but no force fields and no fear. AlphaStar takes that Link fight head on. The Oracles continue to poke around, and while not causing tremendous damage, it's worth noting 33 drones now have died, but our Grandmaster player sits on a very comfortable 71, and whoever this nameless hero is keeping their economy very strong through this. I think it's really easy to overreact and build a bunch of units to go across the field with, but in this game and in this instance, not overreacting, but just continuing to drone has really kept them afloat in this game. It's a Nidus Worm coming out too. This will be interesting to see how this is used. Likely hoping to get into the main base, but there's no vision for that right now. Also, most of these units are kind of out of position. Oh, you know what would be so cool though? I'd love to see like a Nidus Worm Swarmhouse bait. Like, you know, classic spot to put the Nidus Worm is down here, unload the Swarmhouse and fly the Locust to the natural. Do that, but then really hit the right side with these Ravagers. I think there's a cool move being set up here out of our GM player. The AlphaStar is also pushing down the middle of the map, so they have to choose quick. Do they commit to the attack or do they run home to defend? By committing to the attack, it could force AlphaStar to be the one to come back, and that does appear to be the case. That army is in full retreat now. And corrosive vials are really best used when running away, not necessarily while attacking, but oh, those Raptor Shot just picked off 3 of those Ravagers. A pretty expensive loss. Lings are going to be sent up here to the main base. Oh, spreading here through these Zealots. They don't respond, but instead chase out, and that means these Lings... Well, actually, the Sim City out of AlphaStar being an all-star player there for a moment. The Lings don't go right to the mineral lines because of the building placement. Oh, but AlphaStar still needs to deal with this since they do manage to get the full run around. I will say for a Zerg player, though, they are a little outmatched in terms of army right now, but by keeping the entire army of AlphaStar at home and not pressuring the other side of the field, it has given them time to build spine crawlers. It has given them time to get these swarm hosts out for the actual fight. And while we're not likely going to see any Nidus Storms come in soon... Oh, sneaking off 3 Lings to the side. That could be some nice baneling damage a bit later. It's not going to be one shot for the probes because it does take +2 melee for that to happen, which we don't have. They're committing to the fight. There's some Locusts getting some good trade-outs here with these Zealots. Remember, they're free units, but they are on like a massive cooldown. So it'll still be another 20-something seconds before these can fight again. Spine Crawler's going to do their best to buy some time for this, but man, that's a lot of Spine Crawlers! Queen's coming out here to try and transfuse them too. It's all about buying time for the Locust waves to come off cooldown so they can fight once again. Ravagers on the left side get some okay corrosive vials, but Spine Crawlers are falling on the right side. DT's in the mix. There's one Overlord or Overseer, and it's completely out of position, and it gets blasted out of the sky. Now, our Grandmaster player kind of starts winning the left side of the battle, and that's really cool, but losing the hatchery and losing the right side is still pretty bad overall. Hallucinated Archons come into play. This is actually one of the things I love most about watching AlphaStar's Protoss, because their Alpha Toss, she uses hallucinations, and they are always effective if they can soak any amount of damage. I mean, look at this Colossus. It has effectively absorbed 100 or so damage. It's double on hallucinations, so it's a little bit hard to gauge. But the point remains, it's a cool move, and AlphaStar dominates this Grandmaster player. GG.